Hello everyone. So welcome to the next session, that is HTTP structure. So we have already gone through HTTP, basic of HTTP, what it is required for in the API architecture. So here we will be discussing the HTTP structure. So HTTP structure. So within HTTP we have HTTP message, right? So this is the you can say like the message forms. Message is being extended by the request, HTTP request, and the HTTP response. So all these start line, headers, and body will be there in both HTTP request and HTTP response, right? So we can say HTTP request and HTTP response extends the HTTP message. So let's first discuss the HTTP request. So HTTP request will have start line, headers, and body, and also the request will have the request method. So methods are we will discuss in detail in the REST architecture session. So in brief, request methods are like get, put. So these are like post. So these are used to differentiate between what type of request we are sending, whether it's for updating something, whether it's for getting some data, or whether we are creating some data, right? Whether we are modifying any resource. And request version is the HTTP version which is used. So generally the version being used is HTTP 1.1, and though these all specifications are defined in the W3C specification, right? And similarly in the HTTP response also we will have start line, headers, and body, right? So I will show you one example where you will have much more clarity. So in case of HTTP response, so the format is little bit different as compared to HTTP request. We have the status code, and version is same like the, so what type of HTTP version will be used to send back the response for the request which is received by the server. So the server will send back the status code. So status code is that defines like within the response or the to particular request what it tells the status of that particular response. Like we have 200, we have 201. So those are all defined in the W3C specification. So for example, in 200 it means it's a good response, and also we have the message there as okay, right? Similarly we have 404, that is a bad response. So based on the state of the server we will get back the status code is in the response itself, right? So now let's discuss what's the start line. So start line is the start, which is the first line in the HTTP message, whether it's a request or response, right? And headers are the meta information. So those are optional, and body is also optional, right? But in the response we will always get back the body. So when body will be sent and when it is not required, that totally depends on the request method, right? So if it's a get method to get something, so we won't be sending anything to the server. We will just say please give me this particular record or something. All right, so let's discuss this with example. See, so this is the method and this is the resource, right? So and this is the version which we have already discussed, and these all are the headers. So if you can see, if you see here, there is no body in the request, so that is defined in the get message. In the get structure, get request structure, there is no body. These are all the headers, right? And in the response that we discussed, this one HTTP response, so in the HTTP response we will have status code 200, and this is the message okay. That means we have got back a success response, and this is again the version, HTTP version. it will now it is being used is 1.1, and these are the headers. So what these headers will tell me, tell the client, like the content type which is being set in the response body is a text. So these are predefined content types, like we have application JSON, application XML, and this is the content length is also a default header that specifies the length of the content which is being sent in the response body, and this is a body. I am a message, right? So you will have much more clarity when we will discuss the REST architecture, because all these things, the get, post, all these things are discussed in the REST architecture. So I think so you all are clear about this. Let's meet you on the next session.